What is a SCAB? What is a SCAB? I am very, 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 very confused because I don't know if a SCAB is just as it refers to the people that then cross the picket line in order to continue to work, or is it anybody that then don't agree with the union? I seen them over there at Motor City calling everybody a SCAB. Shout out to Josh the Roofer. Shout out to Aaron. I'm going to be reading those super chats shortly. I've seen a lot of people called scabs lately, but this is what's basically happening out here in these streets. Let me share my screen with you guys. Hold on one second. This is what's happening out here in these streets. Hold on. Let me see if I can get that up. Give me a second.
News reporter Ruta Alcenaida picks up our team coverage at the Stellantis Sterling Heights assembly plant. Ruta.
Yeah, you guys, well, a bit of a different scene from what Brett was seeing over in Wayne with the Ford plant. These strikers, they are still very much out. And when I talked to them about Ford getting that deal, they really had two words they kept saying: hope and relief. Hopeful that they can get that deal done too, and relieved that Ford was able to get it done. Now this plant here, almost 7,000 workers strong. They've only been on strike since Monday. For some, this is their very first day of striking, but they say they appreciate those Wayne Ford workers that have been doing this for about 6 weeks now and feel hopeful they'll be next to get that deal. And this plant is a moneymaker for Stellantis. It's also the largest plant where they make the Ram light-duty pickup trucks. And the walkout here came after Fain says there were shortcomings from the offers that Stellantis was putting out to the UAW. Clearly a different story with Ford there. And these workers hope this sets a pattern. Now that one company has struck a deal, that this trickles down and the other two quickly follow suit.
It's usually a domino effect, for the most part. Like I said, we're going to stay optimistic that, if they can do it, then, we should be able to reach something tentative. That sounds good. Sounds great.
I ain't want to be out here too long, so by Ford coming up with their deal, that means GM and then Stellantis going to follow right behind them.
So the workers are now very, very, very hopeful. And see, this is one of the reasons why it's also important for companies to stick together, even if they're opponents when it comes to their ability to sell cars, but they have to combine forces in order to make sure that they all get the same kind of deal all together, because when one company then strikes a deal, you then get a reinvigoration amongst the unions and the people that are striking. You then get an opportunity for them to start feeling more enthusiastic about the possibility of them getting a deal also, because they looking at the people over at Ford and they're like, oh man, wait a minute. They got a deal coming. They got a deal. I don't want to be out here. I was tired, boss. I'm tired of striking. I'm tired of feeling it's getting cold outside. I got my Lions hat on. The Lions lost last weekend. They got beat up. Oh, my God. Oh, Jesus, we need something to root for. They not trying to be out there. They don't want to be out there suffering, beating on drums, stopping people from coming into the plant and everything like that. And so what happens is when one of the automakers then strike a deal, which maybe it was strategic for them to do so to put their competitors at a disadvantage now is reinvigorating the other workers, because Ford is happy and their employees like, skip that. See, you ain't going to see Ford employees out there helping them and striking over at the Stellantis plants, because they was all in solidarity when they was all in the same boat. But now that we got to deal, we going back to work. We got to feed our families. We going back to work. We got to feed our families. Listen, is the UAW all on the same page, or is it solidarity just when it's convenient for you? Is all I want to know. Is it solidarity when it's convenient, or are they all on the same page? Ford, like, skip that. We putting our pickets. We going inside. Because it was solidarity with the casino workers and the truck workers and Ford and Chrysler and GM just a minute ago. But now, all of a sudden, Ford workers is like, no, we good. We good. We going in. It's cold outside. We got our cost of living adjustment. We got our 25% pay raise. We happy to get back to work. I would bet you that union, they are going to, on Sunday, make sure that they ratify that agreement immediately. Let's continue, though.
And they say they're hopefully optimistic, just keeping their eyes out to see if they'll get that deal soon. If Shawn Fain was able to do it with one of the companies, they're seeing if he can do it with the other two.
Let me share with you something else that's going on, right? So while Ford and all of them are putting their signs down, while they're putting their signs down on the other end of the spectrum, they still out there suffering at GM and Chrysler, though.
On this 41st day of the strike, strikers at the Jeep assembly plant, they were greeted this morning to a line of cars and buses trying to cross the picket line to get into the factory to work. Michael Sandlin joins us live from outside Toledo North. And Michael, who are these workers?
Well, Jeff, we've finally learned that they were actually not scabs. The people that pulled up this morning were workers who were assigned to be there. I just received a text a few minutes ago from Local 12's Chairman Mike Sawaya, who told me he learned from the mayor and the chief of police, who told him that they needed to be there, and there was some point of confusion this morning where they thought they were scabs, and that led to some serious confrontations at the factory.
There's more traffic here than normal. They had buses that were actually trying to get in the gates. And being that there's so much traffic, it's abnormal, which means they're trying to get people in here.
It was a confusing start to the morning. A line of vehicles half a mile long were trying to get inside the Jeep plant, and many of those at the picket line immediately concluded those vehicles were full of their replacements.
We're fighting for the working class citizens of America. So when you cross a picket line, whether it be a UAW picket line, a Teamster picket line, any union picket line, you're a scab, and in my eyes, you're a disgrace to our country.
So what she's basically saying is that they're fighting for the working class of the country. And when you cross that picket line, you are now an enemy because you are a disgrace to the country. So when they get temporary workers, when people are trying to come in, when things are starting to run a little bit differently, when you see your replacement or people possibly coming in order to do some work inside of the plant, that's when they call you a scab. That's when they call you a scab. So a scab is anybody. It's not just the workers that work for it that may be in a union with you. A scab is anybody that could cross that picket line that could then give the company some type of advantage that allow them to continue to run that plant that then could possibly replace you. Okay, I'm with it.
In my eyes, you're a disgrace to our country.
But Stellantis says that's not the case. In a statement to WTOL 11, Stellantis said, quote, "Stellantis is not hiring replacement workers at the Toledo Assembly Complex. A third party has been hired to assist with other needs at the complex not related to production during the UAW strike," end quote. And on a phone call with the Stellantis spokesperson, the company said it would take 5,500 workers to get the plant operational again, more than just a few hundred cars could handle.
They wouldn't be able to run actual production, but they would be able to do certain aspects of different, repairs and cars and stuff like that.
Scabs or not, the strikers did everything in their power to prevent even a single vehicle from crossing the line, standing in front of the vehicles and chanting, all while Toledo police monitored the situation closely.
They were fine with how we were doing it, the amount of time that we were doing it, every so often we'd have to let somebody go.
Sawaya estimates that more than 200 people ended up making it inside the factory, but he says they were also able to send multiple cars away. Something the strikers say still counts as a little victory as they continue to try to disrupt the day-to-day of the company.
Striking and picketing is not a waste of our time, as you just seen. We will prevail.
This isn't the first time the UAW is
How do they got orthotics? They got comfortable shoes and stuff like that. That walking for all of that long time, that's got to be tough on you.
accused the big three of hiring scabs either. Last month, UAW President Shawn Fain accused the big three of hiring scabs to commit violence against picketers. In a statement from last month, Stellantis said they were, quote, appalled by those accusations.
I think that Shawn Fain, honestly, I think that Sean Fain eventually will go down in history and then eventually take a job or a consulting position with a larger company. I do. I honestly do. I think that Sean Fain has gotten famous and he has gotten more visibility from this. And I think he's going to continue to either A, be a union president until he then retires and become a consultant, or B, at some point join corporate America in their ranks because he understands intimately how to break the union or how the union operates. That's my prediction for Sean Fain. I think that this is the best thing that could have ever happened to him. I didn't even know who Sean Fain was until after this, until a few months ago. I never even knew who Sean Fain was until a few months ago. But Sean is now going to capitalize from this, and it is going to be a good opportunity for him to continue to grow from it. And so we're about to see. Sean ain't necessarily getting no pay cut either, but we're going to continue to monitor the situation. As long as I'm at the forefront of this movement, you better believe I'm going to be paying attention to what's going on.